Hey crew, Mark Hatmaker here. Today let's talk heavy bags. I think I've been asked because sometimes I have many of our different instructional materials. I get so many different bags that go up. Really only get 5, and explain why I've got these first and, well, not foremost. I'll explain here in just a moment the rationale behind it. Right here I got myself set up a head bag, a headhunter, or a dancing bag. Why is it called that? Because it is a lightweight bag. Right, it's going to move around a whole lot, even more dance out of it because I put a spring joint on it up here. So whenever hitting that thing's really moving around, and I got to follow around with it and make sure I'm not using the elbows or hands to stop it up. Use the head, get in tight, follow it, and make it work. Other times we're working with just a standard body bag or a lean bag right here. This one's around about 80, 85, 90, depending on Tennessee humidity. I've clocked in at about 95 to 100. What we're using that one for, clearly, we're doing some body work. It's still, and head work as well. It gives me a little bit of heft, a little bit of weight, still has some sway on it, but also it's one that I'm in to keep off plumb. So whenever I'm working it, these are for sprints. So if the bags are usually hanging like this, getting some wobble out of it, I'm wanting to make sure it stays out where the bottom of the bag is where my fingers are, top of the bag is the top of my finger. It's moving out at this angle like this and stays there. Not because I'm pushing it or holding out there and leaning into it. You're keeping that out there with your punches. Next up, we've got ourselves a ball bag or a uppercut bag right there. And that way we can work all the way around it, working over a straight in shot, setting up the uppercut. And it's very forgiving about whichever angle you're going to work that uppercut on. What is not forgiving on the uppercut angle is getting yourself an old school uppercut bag, which will also be called a vertical bag, which is what I have right here, where you've got the hooking loops right here in the center of it. And whenever it obviously hangs, when you hit it, you got to hit it on in, plumb flush. The thing spins, locks and loads, or rocks and rolls with you. All your uppercuts have to be clean. There's a good chance of missing them a good deal, like you miss a lot in boxing. Rather than programming your misses, let your bags give you that real world chaotic feedback with it. Absolutely love that. And of course, last but not least, out of the 5 that I use, we'll see this. Standard is a banana bag, but I use it like the old school boxing setup, which is called a drag bag. So here we got, this one runs Tennessee humidity, runs 125, 130 at times. Drag bag, which means I drop it down whenever it's hanging plumb from the joints, where it's actually leaning a little bit off kilter. It's actually touching the ground, hence the drag. Why do we do that? Because another great bag to have would be a wall bag, one that is actually up against the wall, got zero give out of it, and that way you can work around and work your really big power shots out of it. Think your Mike Tyson work with a wall bag or old Custom Auto wall bags. A drag bag can give you the exact same idea, except you get to work all the way around at 360, so there's a lot of wisdom in that. Again, do you have to have this many? No, but explain why it's not a bad idea to have at least more than one option with what you're playing with. One is we get grooved at something, we get good at something, we start building some efficiencies to it. If we're working the same size bag, same weighted bag, particularly if we're working the same style with it, we get used to the same sort of sway with it. We want to have things that give you off-kilter angles on it. That way we don't necessarily, over time you'll get grooved to how those bags move, but at least you're getting used to chasing down different reactions. So the drag bags give you some power while you're working around it. Working out a plumb with that body bag means you're just keeping some weight, good weight with that bag, but just keeping out from that plumb position means a high work rate moving the entire time. And of course, when we talk about the headhunter bag or the dancing bag, we're in that spring joint, constantly rocking around. The two different forms of uppercut bags. So what we're trying to do is make sure we're not getting good at something. We don't want to have the efficiencies, because the efficiencies means we've gotten better at it. We've made it a little easier on ourselves. And a fight is never going to be easy. So you're trying to make your training as hard as possible. What I do around here is I rotate them. I'll put up there's a bag of the week. I'll put up, unless I got a specific drill I'm focusing on with the client. We're still what I call a client. That's a horrible thing. Another human being who's been kind enough to come in and travel and want to play. We're working on that. Whenever it's me working solo, whenever Monday morning rolls around, boom, rotate it through, put up the next bag. Do I have favorites out of the bags? Yeah, they're all kind of my babies, all my children, but I have some that I feel like I work better with, depending on whatever injuries I'm working through at the time. But still, yeah, that bag's got to be the one in the rotation. Make sure I can play with it. Anyway, hopefully you got a little bit of something out of that, why we have that many, and the method to the madness that works on there. Of course, I didn't discuss maze ball, or speed bags, or double ends. Most of your work, because you're trying to hit hard and hit things that move, you want to have something that has some smack back to you, some actual impact, because that's what you're looking to do. Double in and focus pad work. Look to some of our upcoming essays on this. We're passing along some of the old timers' thoughts on that. Anyway, hope you got something out of that. Thanks for taking a look at this. Here comes my thumb.